Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we'll be going through the demolition job from the Western Bulldogs, in which they ran out winners by 11 goals. They ran out winners by 67 points in the end over the likes of Fremantle, and yeah, it was just a demolition job in the last quarter. I know, and I'm quickly just trying to run to the stats here. It was 8 goals to 3 in the last quarter, and it was 14 goals 3 to 7 goals 6. So it was effectively 87 to 48 in the second half. They just ran over the top of them, and it was basically the Bontempelli show. So before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So Bontempelli, 142, 162. He had 30 touches, 8 marks, 5 tackles, 3 goals, and he couldn't do much more. Do you want him to go into the ruck? I'm sure he would have got hit outs with the way he was playing. It was one of the best games I've seen, and it seems like a commonplace for Bontempelli at this point in time. If this was ever a 3-vote game, he dominated every stat line. Most touches for the Bulldogs, alongside Bramble and Bailey Dale actually. Bramble actually had more marks, but yeah, more tackles than Bramble, I guess, and more goals. He had actually Riley West kicked 4, so they all just kicked a lot of goals. It was just raining goals, 35 goals in all and 21 behind. So it was 231 points in total between the two sides. It was just mammoth scoring, especially after the first quarter brought around 8 goals, and the second half brought across 14 plus 7, 21 goals in the second half. It was just ridiculous. It was just goal after goal, especially in the end. There was a lot of goals late, just banged on late, and it was just goal after goal. And Bontempelli, 142, 162 splits, amazing. Bramble, 134, 133. I don't think he'll do that again, to be honest with you. Tim English, 124, 136. He was amazing. So again, the ruck seemed to have really dined out in the absence of Max Gawn. For those that for those that had the sort of combo of an English or Grundy or something, or one of English or Grundy to pair alongside Max Gawn, that seems to be the way at the moment. English just all the marks in the world. It seems like him and the way that him and Marshall do it compared to like Gawn and Grundy is quite ridiculous. Gawn and Grundy are very much possession based, a load of hit outs, whereas Marshall and Tim English are more around the ground. Like, I'm pretty sure Grundy only had 1 or 2 tackles, whereas he's averaging about 6 or 7 at the moment. But Grundy doesn't mark the ball that much, and I think he got maybe 3 or 4. He doesn't do a lot of that. He gets like 20 handballs and like 10 kicks and stuff like that. That's the way he does it. Treloar, 111, 125. Bailey Dale, 110, 136. I think Bailey Dale's another one that we should be potentially looking at on both fronts. I do need to check, do they have the Sydney matchup anymore? Let's just check this. They do in round 20, so that is a watch for that, because Bailey Dale is Bailey Dale, and they will be looking at that game thinking, do we need to tag him? But they may also be like, we are 4 games clear, we don't need to tag him at that point. Like, we are minor premiers almost at that point. Lob, 107, 108. Tom Liberatore, 105, 128. He was pretty big as well. Ed Richards, 93, 115. He was another one. They just had score after score after score. It was quite ridiculous. Riley West, 89. Bailey Williams, 88. Jamara, 63. James O'Donnell, 63. Cody Waitman, 61. Jack McRae, 60. Was quite annoying. It's just like he needs to get involved in the game more. 19 touches, 2 marks, 3 tackles. Just get those marks and tackles up to 5 each, and he's really golden there, to be honest with you. That would get him up, where is it here? Another 9 plus another 17 points, up to 77, maybe another couple of kicks there, and you get up to the 80s, and that's where Jack McRae thrives, sort of. Joel Frazier, 55, 68, another pretty decent score from him. A 68 is already pretty decent for Supercoach, so I was happy about that. 55 fancy is sort of just that 18th man type of score. Riley Sanders, 51, so he'll grow into the game, I'm pretty sure. It's just has those games where he's on and some games where he's just off, and I don't just wonder if it's him being really thrown into into a really good midfield with Bontempelli, Trelaw, Liberatore, Ed Richards, and then him as well. So I think it's just maybe him just being almost the fifth midfielder in that midfield. Scott, Dreyer, Karmas, Jones, Vandermeer, Gallagher as well was really surprising. He was pretty poor. Even though he kicked 2 goals, he only got 6 touches and 31 and 34 split. And then Caleb Daniel came on for a 24% game time for a 22. Fremantle, Hayden Young, 98. I thought he was pretty good. He did butcher the ball with 46% efficiency. He'll be back better. I almost did think about bringing him in, which was one of the guys that I thought about bringing in if I was to drop a steal. But that would have just been an equal trade, basically. So there's that. Jordan Clark, 95-85 splits. Happy that he went negative. Good that it was an alright trade in for fantasy, given that he got 95. Could have been better, but I did worry about him just having one of those games, like 130 games, and really just pulling away. Luke Jackson, 91-115 splits. He was really, really good and really, really impactful. Sean Darcy, he had an alright game. I wouldn't say it was a perfect game. But an 86-98, 38 hitouts. They had 54 between them to 31 hitouts. Pretty impactful game from the 2 big ruckmen. Caleb Strong, 80. That's really good to see him score an 80 and a 96 in Supercoach. So really, really needed him to have a low game eventually, and he's finally gone and done it. And that will mean that he'll probably drop, I would say now, a big total. I thought he had a big break even on his head. Yeah. 80, so he's going to drop, I would say, 20-25k. And 20-25k with projected to have like a 140 break even next week against the Suns. He could do it, but I don't know if he will. And that will surely help him really lower that break even. And then he has the Swans in round 16. They probably will put like a row bottom onto him. And then he has a really clean run home, I'll be honest. So yeah, he could be one that you look at after the Swans game for like 900k or so. I'll certainly keep that on the watch list. Tracy, 78-69. Bailey Bamfield, 75-50. Warner, 71. Luke Ryan, 70-79. So he had a shocker. So I'm happy about that as well. That's probably why my fantasy is doing so well this week, is because Caleb Strong had a shocker. Luke Ryan had a shocker. I didn't have Jack Steele in fantasy. Who else had a shocker? Chad Warner, for those people that brought him in, he had a shocker. So yeah, just all the players having shockers, and I'm just sitting here like I don't have any of them. And this is why I think you have to look at this this way. Where is it? Caleb Strong here. 4 non-disposals, and that's 4 non-disposal actions in 1 mark, 3 tackles. He has been getting a lot of the tackles, but I just don't think, and he is a great player fantasy-wise, etc. But when he gets shut down, I think he's an easy, and I don't think they even tagged him at all. I just think he's one of those ones that can easily be sort of, not necessarily tagged out of games, but sort of limited. And you see here, he could have 25 disposals and still have a sort of 80-85 game. Whereas a lot of the other bigger body guys can easily just get on the non-disposals by just tackling up a storm here. Including Bontempelli. He's had games where he's had 16 touches, 3 goals, and still added, gone to a 105 or something like that. If we look at this one with Bontempelli, I think it's low. I wonder what his lowest tackle number is. Look at the tackle numbers: 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 is his lowest. Outside of that 2, it's 3 and then 4s. And he also gets on the marking board as well. So that's the big difference between Bontempelli and Sarong, is just the tackling numbers. As Bontempelli's now at a 107 average for the year. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes big for the rest of the year. Then we go down here. Brayshaw, Swiskowski, Walker, Sturt, O'Meara, Amos, Fife as well. He's really started to slow down. I think the preseason got him into shape, but I think he started to really stop firing now, and I think he's almost ready to call it quits, to be honest. He just doesn't, he looks a little bit slow, to be honest, and I know that he's never been the quickest one, but he just looks a much further step off the pace now than he did at the start of the year. Pearce, this is the time for them to get like a Johnson involved if they can, but maybe now that they're back more so in the pack than they were before this weekend, maybe they can't really get Johnson involved as much. but I would like to see him more on ball and maybe like an Erasmus or something involved now. Johnson, Draper, Aish, Frederick, Sharp had a stinker. That was quite funny. But the thing about this, and I was doing the math here, and some other guys commented on this, is basically the fact that Sharp's 15, it's not going to count for anything for most of us, especially on fantasy, given that I've got 22 guys, well, effectively 23. I wish I had subbed Sharp off so that I had... It wouldn't have been much better. It was basically Sharp's 15 or Kane McAuliffe's 17 would be my 22nd scorer. But basically, the Sharp score means nothing to me. It doesn't do anything. But he could easily be primed up to go 105 or something like that, and that's going to be way more impactful, him going a 15 and a 105, than him going 60-60. So yes, he will lose cash. Everyone knows that he will lose cash. But yeah, he'll be fine in the end. So anyway, Aish, Frederick, yeah, we went through everyone else there. So that pretty much is the video there, just going through the Western Bulldogs demolition of Fremantle, and I guess I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the Richmond Hawthorn game, as well as the Sydney deja vu come from behind victory yet again against another side for the 4th straight week, something like that. It's just, you could almost write a script for the Swans at this point, but anyway, I'll see you guys back for those videos tomorrow. Bye guys.